The idea of living a long life isn't just about accumulating years, but about the quality of those years. It's about maintaining physical and mental vitality well into old age, avoiding the weakness and dependence that often accompany it. But how much of this is pure luck or genetics, and how much is truly within our control? That's exactly what we're exploring today, William. We're delving into the science of longevity, looking beyond any single magic pill or secret herb that claims to stop aging. Modern science offers a far more nuanced, yet actionable picture of what it means to live a long and healthy life. We'll touch on diet, exercise, sleep, the health of our heart and brain, the impact of loneliness and social connections, stress management, bone and muscle health, the reality of centenarians, and the destructive habits like smoking and excessive alcohol. I think that distinction you just made is critical. The difference between merely living a long time and living a healthy long time. Most people wouldn't want to live to 100 if the last 20 years were filled with severe illness and complete dependence on others. The term health span seems to capture that aspiration perfectly. Precisely. Health span refers to the years a person remains physically and mentally active, relatively healthy, and independent. The real goal isn't just to extend life, but to add life to our years. Understanding why we age is the first step. Aging is a natural biological process, but it's more than just gray hair and wrinkles. Inside our bodies, trillions of cells are constantly working, dividing, generating energy, repairing damage, and keeping us alive. Over time, damage accumulates within these cells. Our DNA can be harmed, proteins might stop functioning correctly, mitochondria, our cells' powerhouses, become less efficient. The immune system changes, chronic low-grade inflammation can increase, and we start losing muscle and bone density. Hormonal changes and shifts in brain function also occur. These changes, however, don't occur at the same speed for everyone. It sounds like a complex, unavoidable decline. Yet we see such vast differences in how people age. You might have two 70-year-olds. One walks miles every day. The other struggles with a few steps. One is learning new things. The other's daily capabilities have diminished significantly. Why such a divergence? That highlights the difference between chronological age, which is just our calendar age, and biological age, which reflects the functional state of our body. This isn't entirely within our control, of course. Genetics, environment, childhood health, income, education, pollution, healthcare access, and living conditions all play significant roles. However, our daily habits also play a very important part, and that's the part we can influence. So the greatest secret to long life isn't actually a secret at all, is it? We often gravitate towards complex solutions, believing something truly transformative must be intricate. If someone says, this one thing will make you 10 years younger, we're immediately intrigued. But if they say, eat your vegetables, move your body, sleep well, and stop smoking, it doesn't sound as exciting. That's the scientific reality. Significant health outcomes often stem from small, consistently repeated habits. There isn't one singular secret to longevity, but rather several pillars. When these pillars are built together, their combined effect can be substantial. Diet is one of the most debated topics in longevity science. It feels like a new diet trend emerges every few years. Low carb, keto, fasting, plant-based, superfoods. It's hard to know what to trust. And while each might have some merit for certain individuals, if we look at the best global research, some fundamental principles consistently emerge. The first is to eat mostly foods that are minimally processed: vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and adequate protein. Many traditional Pakistani foods like lentils, chickpeas, vegetables, saag, yogurt, fish, and eggs are excellent choices. Even roti and rice can be part of a balanced diet when prepared appropriately. The issue isn't often the traditional food itself, but the quantity: excessive oil, too much sugar, frequent fried foods, sugary drinks, and ultra-processed items. That brings to mind the Mediterranean diet, which is widely celebrated. What makes it so effective? The Mediterranean-style diet is among the most researched dietary patterns globally. It generally includes plenty of vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and moderate amounts of fish. But the lesson isn't about the specific ingredients of Italy or Greece. It's about the pattern. More natural foods, more fiber, fewer processed items, appropriate healthy fats, and balanced energy intake. And how does protein factor into all of this, especially as we age? In older age, there's a silent threat called muscle loss or sarcopenia. With aging, it becomes harder for the body to build muscle. If this is combined with reduced food intake, low protein, and lack of exercise, muscle loss accelerates. Muscle isn't just for bodybuilding, it's essential for daily independence, getting out of a chair, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, maintaining balance, preventing falls, and recovering strength after illness. That's why adequate protein and strength training become very important in older age. However, the correct protein amount isn't the same for everyone. It depends on body weight, activity level, kidney health, and other medical conditions. Especially for those with kidney disease, significant dietary changes should only be made under a doctor's or dietitian's advice. There's also a lot of discussion around calorie restriction. Does eating less genuinely extend life? Research on calorie restriction in animals is extensive, and in some species, reducing calorie intake can extend lifespan. However, the story is more complex for humans. We're not just laboratory animals. We need to consider muscle mass, bone density, hormone balance, immune function, and overall quality of life. Excessive dieting, especially in older age, can be detrimental. If weight loss leads to rapid muscle loss, a person might appear thinner but functionally become weaker. So the goal of longevity isn't starvation, it's metabolic health. And intermittent fasting, which has become hugely popular. Intermittent fasting is very trendy. Some fast for 16 hours, others eat only once or twice a day or do alternate day fasting. Research indicates that fasting can help some individuals reduce calories, manage weight, or improve blood sugar. But there's no strong evidence yet that any specific fasting schedule definitively grants significantly longer life to humans. It's also not suitable for everyone. Pregnant women, some diabetes patients, individuals with a history of eating disorders, very frail elderly, or those on certain medications need to exercise caution. If you had to pick one habit, one powerful tool that impacts the heart, brain, muscles, bones, sleep, mood, and metabolic health, what would it be? Physical activity. Exercise is arguably one of the most powerful tools available for human health. And exercise doesn't just mean going to the gym. Walking, cycling, swimming, gardening, dancing, taking the stairs, housework, and sports are all forms of movement. But for a comprehensive longevity plan, 3 types of activity are particularly important: aerobic fitness, strength, and balance. Walking seems so mundane, almost too simple to be a powerful tool. Walking is a highly underrated exercise. It's inexpensive, easy, accessible to most people, and can be integrated into daily life. It's not about hitting 10,000 steps every day for everyone. The real goal is to reduce a sedentary lifestyle. If someone currently takes 2,000 steps a day, aiming for 4,000 is an improvement. If they're at 4,000, moving to 6,000 can be better. The purpose isn't competition, it's progress. Cardio fitness, maintaining the health of our heart and lungs, is also crucial. When you walk briskly, cycle, or do any activity that raises your heart rate and breathing, your cardiovascular system gets trained. Good aerobic fitness isn't just for sports performance. It builds reserve in daily life. Simply put, the more reserve you have, the better your body can withstand illness or stress. And strength training? I think many people associate that with younger individuals, bodybuilders, or athletes. That's a common misconception. In fact, the importance of strength training increases with age. Movements like squats, chair stands, light dumbbells, resistance bands, push, and pull movements can all be modified to suit age and fitness level. Someone who has never exercised shouldn't start with very heavy weights. A slow start, correct technique, and consistency are far more important. And then there's balance, which becomes critical. Falls are a major health issue in older age. A fall can lead to a hip fracture, hospitalization, weeks of bed rest, and rapid muscle loss. Regaining independence after that can be very difficult. So balance exercises, standing on one foot, heel-to-toe walking, tai chi, and controlled stepping are vital. Professional supervision is advisable if someone already has a history of falls. We spend roughly a third of our lives asleep. Is that time just for rest, or is something more significant happening? Sleep is far more than just rest. It's the body's natural repair system. During sleep, the brain and body perform essential functions: memory processing, hormonal regulation, immune function, metabolic control, and emotional regulation. Sleep is biology. While everyone's needs aren't identical, 7 to 9 hours is a general guideline for most adults. And it's not just about duration, quality is also key. If you're in bed for 8 hours but constantly waking up, your sleep quality suffers. Sometimes issues like sleep apnea, indicated by loud snoring, pauses in breathing, morning headaches, or daytime sleepiness, can be at play. This isn't just a matter of not enough sleep, it can impact heart health and blood pressure. Chronic sleep problems should not be ignored as mere lifestyle issues. Stress is an unavoidable part of life. Is all stress detrimental? Stress is indeed part of the human experience, and some stress can even be beneficial. The alert feeling before an exam, a presentation, or a competition can keep us sharp. The problem arises when stress becomes chronic, persisting for months or years due to work, financial issues, family problems, loneliness, illness, or insecurity. If the body is constantly in a stress response, it can negatively affect sleep, blood pressure, appetite, and mood. And how do we combat that chronic stress? There's no one-size-fits-all solution, is there? No, there isn't. For some, prayer and worship bring peace. For others, breathing exercises, meditation, spending time in nature, connecting with family, exercise, therapy, or talking to a close friend. The crucial aspect is recovery. We can't eliminate stress from our lives, but we can teach our nervous system how to recover from it. This brings us to another critical pillar: human connections. It's something you can't buy in a supplement bottle: genuine human relationships. Friends, family, community. How does that translate into tangible health benefits? Research associates social isolation and loneliness with several negative health outcomes. Loneliness isn't just an emotional issue. Mobility problems, hearing loss, vision problems, and financial difficulties can push people away from others. When an older person starts to lose their hearing, for instance, they might avoid conversations, struggle to follow discussions, and gradually withdraw from social gatherings. So a simple ear problem can quickly become a social health issue. Addressing hearing loss with aids or assessments can significantly improve social engagement. Beyond physical and social connections, what about a sense of purpose? Does that play a role in how long and well we live? Purpose is often overlooked in discussions about longevity, but humans aren't just bodies, we need meaning. Purpose doesn't have to be a grand mission. It could be helping your children, spending time with grandchildren, gardening, community service, mentoring a young person, learning something new, engaging in a business, art, faith, or volunteer work. Any meaningful responsibility can keep a person engaged with life. This is why the concept of retirement, where one suddenly stops working, can be problematic. The daily structure vanishes, the reason to get up in the morning diminishes, social interactions decrease, and physical activity often declines. Therefore, financial planning for retirement isn't enough. A social plan, a physical plan, and a purpose plan are equally important. Moving to the more obvious health detractors, smoking is clearly detrimental, but what about alcohol? Smoking is one of the biggest enemies of longevity. If you forget everything else we discuss, remember this: quitting smoking is an incredibly powerful decision for your health. It damages the heart, lungs, and blood vessels, increasing the risk of cancer, stroke, and lung disease. Importantly, the benefits of quitting can begin at any age. The idea that it's too late is false. As for alcohol, there was a time when moderate alcohol consumption was thought to be beneficial for the heart. However, modern evidence is interpreted with much more caution. If someone doesn't drink alcohol, there's no need to start for longevity purposes. Generally, lower exposure is associated with less alcohol-related harm. Our heart, the central system, also demands attention. Cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death globally. Protecting the heart is a fundamental part of any longevity strategy. Here, basic factors are far more crucial than flashy hacks: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, smoking status, exercise, body composition, and diet. High blood pressure is often called a silent killer because many people have no symptoms, making them feel fine. But that feeling isn't always accurate. Exactly. Years of uncontrolled high blood pressure can damage blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke, and kidney problems. So, I feel fine isn't sufficient. Knowing your blood pressure is essential. The same goes for cholesterol. There's a lot of confusion. Not all cholesterol is the same. Doctors look at LDL, HDL, triglycerides, and overall cardiovascular risk. Interpreting a single number in isolation isn't appropriate. Lifestyle is key, and for some, medications may also be necessary. Longevity doesn't mean rejecting medicine. Evidence-based medicine and a healthy lifestyle aren't mutually exclusive. They often work together. Blood sugar and metabolic health, particularly type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, are also highly significant for long-term health, but prevention and management are possible through weight management, activity, diet, sleep, and, if needed, medications. A healthy lifestyle isn't always an alternative to treatment. It's often an integral part of it. Longevity isn't just about the body, it's about the brain, too. The fear of dementia is growing. While we can't prevent every case, many risk factors for brain health are linked to cardiovascular health. Exercise, blood pressure control, not smoking, sleep, social connection, hearing, education, and mental stimulation. Keeping the brain active is crucial. Learn a new language, read books, engage with music, chess, puzzles, writing, teaching, or understanding new technology. Challenging your brain can be a healthy habit. However, simply doing crossword puzzles while ignoring other lifestyle factors isn't enough. The brain isn't separate from the body. Centenarians, those who live to 100 or beyond, fascinate us. When a person reaches that age, journalists often ask, "What's your secret?" The answers are usually quite charming. "I drink coffee every day, I eat chocolate, I never worry, or I walk every day." These stories are lovely, but they don't always represent scientific evidence. That's an important point because we often fall into what's called survivorship bias. If a 100-year-old person ate dessert every day, we might conclude dessert is the secret to longevity. But we don't see the millions who ate the same way and didn't live to be 100. So an individual's experience might be interesting, but it doesn't prove causation. However, even with that bias, we can still learn from centenarians. Many exceptionally old people share common themes: routine, adaptability, social connection, movement, purpose, and simplicity. But not all centenarians are alike. Some adopted healthy lifestyles, some didn't. Genes play a role, and so does luck. Similarly, blue zones are regions where an unusually high number of people live to very old ages. Their lifestyles often feature themes like plant-rich diets, walking, social connection, and purpose. But there's debate surrounding blue zones research regarding population records, migration, and data quality. So it's better to view them as inspirational observations rather than magic formulas. It seems that where there's a strong human desire, like for longevity, scams also emerge. The promise of reversing DNA or reducing biological age by 10 years in a week. What's your advice on this rapidly growing industry of longevity supplements and anti-aging drugs? You need to be cautious with such claims. Ask critical questions. Where are the human trials? How many participants? For how long? Did it actually reduce disease or mortality, or just change a single biomarker? A mouse study is interesting, but not human proof. An observational study is useful, but doesn't establish causation. Randomized controlled trials offer stronger evidence, but even they aren't perfect. Science doesn't provide certainty, it provides confidence levels. Regarding supplements, they're a huge industry. While some might be beneficial for specific deficiencies or medical conditions, a supplement isn't the same as a lifespan extending drug. Even if a supplement improves a blood marker, it doesn't automatically mean you'll live longer. Vitamin D deficiency, for instance, can be real, especially with low sunlight exposure or certain conditions, and correcting it is important. But high-dose vitamin D should not be considered a universal anti-aging treatment. As for anti-aging drugs,
Scientists are indeed researching various compounds like rapamycin and metformin, and some results in animals are intriguing. However, it's not routine medical practice for healthy individuals to take these drugs solely to extend their lifespan. Side effects, dosage, and long-term safety are all significant questions. Commercial biological age tests are also available using blood tests, DNA methylation clocks, or fitness scores. While interesting for research, if an app tells you your biological age is 42 and your actual age is 50, it doesn't guarantee you've added 8 years to your life. It's a biomarker prediction, not a guarantee. Beyond cutting-edge science, where does preventative healthcare fit into this? Things like vaccinations and screenings often get overlooked in the pursuit of longevity. Preventative medicine is actually incredibly important. Vaccinations, cancer screenings where appropriate, blood pressure and diabetes screenings, dental health, eye checks, hearing checks, and medication reviews are all crucial parts of healthy aging. Oral health, for example, is often underestimated. Dental problems can affect eating, pain can disrupt sleep, and gum disease is linked to overall health. If an older person can't chew properly, their nutrition suffers. Dental health isn't a luxury, it's a part of health. Similarly, poor vision can increase falls, make driving difficult, and increase social isolation, making regular eye exams vital. Some eye diseases show no symptoms in early stages, and we can't discuss longevity solely through individual choices. The environment also profoundly impacts health. Clean air, safe neighborhoods, walkable spaces, access to healthcare, income, education, and food availability. Blaming someone solely for a lack of discipline can be unfair if their environment lacks affordable healthy food, safe walking spaces, or healthcare.
How do we apply these principles in a context like Pakistan, where conditions might differ from those studied in Western research?
The conversation about longevity in Pakistan must align with our own realities. We face high burdens of diabetes and high blood pressure. Smoking and tobacco use are widespread. Physical inactivity is increasing, and processed foods and sugary drinks are becoming more prevalent. Yet we also have many excellent traditional practices: home-cooked meals, lentils, vegetables, strong family ties, walking, and community. If we combine these good traditions with modern science, we can see significant benefits. A daily longevity routine could involve waking up, getting some natural light, and taking a short walk if possible. A balanced breakfast with protein and fiber, avoiding prolonged sitting, moving every so often during work. Planned exercise in the afternoon or evening, a moderate dinner. Reducing screen time and stimulation before sleep, and maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. A weekly plan would include brisk walking or other aerobic exercise a few days a week, 2 or more strength sessions, some balance work, meal planning, meaningful time with friends or family, some learning, and not postponing health appointments.
But what if someone is 50, 60, or 70 and has never exercised? Is it too late to start making these changes?
Absolutely not. The body can adapt even in older age. Strength, balance, and fitness can all improve. The benefits of quitting smoking can be realized later in life. There's no perfect age to make healthy changes. Today is always better. People often start with dramatic shifts: a strict diet, daily gym, zero sugar, waking at 5 a.m. And then, 2 weeks later, it all collapses. Longevity isn't a sprint or even a marathon. It's a lifestyle. Small, sustainable steps are much more effective. A 5-minute walk, then 10. One less sugary drink. An extra vegetable, 1 strength session a week, then 2. These small changes accumulate. And speaking of small steps, weight isn't everything. It can be a health marker, but it's not the whole picture. Fitness, waist circumference, blood pressure, blood sugar, lipids, muscle strength, sleep, and mental health are all crucial. A person can be at a normal weight and still be unhealthy, while an overweight person can achieve significant improvements in fitness and metabolic health. Think of muscle as a retirement fund. You save money for retirement. Muscle is a biological retirement fund. The more reserve you build in youth and middle age, the more beneficial it can be in old age. But even if you start late, benefits are still possible. Strength training is saving for your future. Bone health also requires resistance exercise, adequate nutrition, and appropriate amounts of vitamin D and calcium. The risk of osteoporosis increases in older age, especially for women after menopause, making falls prevention even more critical. And hydration, which seems so basic, often gets neglected by older individuals who might not feel thirsty as readily. Dehydration can cause confusion, weakness, and dizziness. Drinking enough water is essential. However, for those with heart failure or kidney disease, fluid intake should be guided by a doctor. Mental health is another aspect that cannot be ignored. Depression isn't an inevitable part of aging, nor is anxiety. If an older person is constantly sad, has lost interest in life, sleeps poorly, or feels life is meaningless, it shouldn't be dismissed as just the effect of age. Mental health treatment is important at any age. Emotional intimacy is also vital for healthy aging. The need to be touched, heard, understood, and feel important remains throughout life. In older age, people derive quality of life from romantic companionship, friendships, and family bonds. Age doesn't eliminate emotional needs. Many mentally active older adults share a common trait: curiosity. They ask questions, learn new technologies, visit new places, show interest in people. Interest in life itself is a sign of vitality and adaptability. Life rarely follows our plans. Retirement, bereavement, illness, mobility changes, children moving away. Adaptability is key. Those who can rebuild routines and purpose in response to new realities tend to adjust better psychologically.
It sounds like the real secret to a long and healthy life isn't one pill, one superfood, one exercise, one supplement, or one morning routine. It's truly thousands of small decisions, isn't it?
It is. It's what you eat today, how much you move, how you sleep, how you recover from stress, who you talk to, whether you smoke, whether you check your blood pressure, if you use your muscles, if you challenge your brain. All these things collectively shape your future. And even then, there are no guarantees. We are all mortal. No lifestyle can eliminate death. But healthy habits give us a better chance, not just for more years, but for better years. Years where we can walk, think, make our own decisions, spend time with loved ones, laugh, travel, learn new things, and have physical and mental reserves when difficult times arise. Perhaps the biggest secret to longevity is this: the future isn't built by one grand decision. It's built by the ordinary decisions of daily life: a walk, a good meal, a night of better sleep, a phone call to a friend, a medical checkup, not smoking a cigarette, a strength workout, a new book, a meaningful conversation. These things don't seem dramatic, but life isn't mostly made of dramatic moments. Life is made of ordinary days. And if we make those ordinary days a little better, perhaps our old age can also be different. The question isn't just, how many years will I live? The real question is, how much health, strength, mental freedom, and happiness can I experience in the years I am given? And the answer to that question begins not tomorrow, but today. Get up, move, strengthen your body, take care of your heart, keep your mind engaged, eat well, stay close to your people. And don't waste life searching for a miracle, because perhaps the most powerful longevity medicine isn't a mysterious secret. Perhaps it's those very ordinary things we often overlook: good food, daily movement, strong muscles, good sleep, less mental stress, strong relationships, a sense of purpose, avoiding smoking, protecting the heart and brain, and regular medical care. Living a long life is a beautiful desire, but an even more beautiful desire is this: to truly live a long life.
Consider sharing this episode with someone who might benefit from rethinking their approach to a long and healthy life.
Thank you for watching this podcast. Please subscribe for more such videos. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.